Hi everyone, it's Sean from STK Markets here this morning. We've got one of our favourites, one of my biggest holdings personally, Southern Cross Gold in the room, Mike Hudson, the MD this morning. Mike, good morning. What a great day to be you.
Good morning. Another day, another high-grade result, eh?
Well, they just keep coming, but I think this one's really significant. When we first started working with you quite a few years ago, you had Fosterville and Costerfield around you, and their big projects really got successful at depth. So what you've done is you've drilled out, got a heap of high-grade gold, looking really good, but now you've gone deeper again, and it just keeps getting better and better. This is the second highest grade hit that you've had so far, and it's just getting better and better at depth. Can you just explain to the layman what this actually means? And congratulations again, mate. Good job.
Thanks, Sean. So we only releasing one hole today, which was quite a significant hole, and we thought material in its own right. So we turned this one around quickly. It's the first and only hole that went to more than 1 kilometre depth, and we intersected the deepest mineralisation on the property. Remembering that these epizonal systems from the upper levels have gold antimony and the brittle system, and then when they start going deeper, they start transitioning to these. The antimony drops off and the visible gold picks up, at least in Fosterville and Costerfield, two of the top 10 highest grade gold mines on earth. And you get this very different style of very high grade gold. Now, the second highest grade gold hit on this property, the deepest gold hit. So the highlight there was 1.2 meters at 121.8 grams gold, super high grade. And then it's got context in the holes around it also. So it's not just a Hail Mary in the middle of nowhere. And also we hit 4 other high grade zones within this hole over a 200 meter zone. So within the hole itself. So it delivered on many levels this hole, but most importantly, second highest grade hit, the deepest hole, and context and many zones that we found within a smaller zone, many high-grade hits.
Well, one thing I'm thinking, Mike, you've got all these. I mean, this is the second largest one. Is it close to that other one? It sort of is, isn't it? Where you've drilled previously, and you've got that monster that we had about a month or two ago. Then you've got this other monster deep down in the system. Could they actually link up? So we've got all this high-grade gold going like hundreds of meters, if not through the whole 11K tenement that we've got. So I mean, you sort of don't, it's your second or your first deepest hole, you're hitting the high grade. I mean, a boxer doesn't knock out the guy with the first punch always. You seem to keep hitting high grade every time you're going down there virtually.
Well, there's a couple of things to unpack there, I think, Sean. So everything that we can say at this stage, this is 115 meter down dip extension, so it's a long way. Look out your window or wherever your listeners are listening to both of us talk now, and think of 100 meters, and we've tested this size core over 2 different intersections 100 meters apart. But everything that we know, the orientation of the veins, we orientate those veins. Everything we know about the rocks around it suggests that this has continuity with the hole above it. In this case, that was hole 61. That was 12 meters at 7.4 grams equivalent, including 0.3 at 249.5. So we're seeing those very high grades and continuity over a broader zone too. So yes, it does at this stage look like at least that one high grade continues. But there's, like I said, there's 5 hits in total, and they all have context with the holes around them. And then you don't hit your opponent out with a single punch, was your analogy there, and this is literally a big step out at depth, and we hit gold again, and this project just does continue to deliver that. And if your listeners were to have the ability to benchmark the hit rate that Sunday Creek is delivering compared to any other peer globally in terms of a discovery, you'd see that this is really top tier in terms of the hit rate and the amount of gold we're getting for the amount of drilling we've done. It is really quite special.
I think you said when we first met, Newmont says 300 gram per meter intersections is a bona fide discovery. We're almost at 30. We haven't done 1,000 holes, as you said. We're certainly, I think, at hole 61. Just the hit rate is just huge. But stepping down, when we get that low. This is where Fosterville went into that Cinderella zone, where those really ultra high grades, which we're seeing here again, and 121 grams is just a massive, massive hit. Is this what Fosterville looks like? Because that's what we could be building here. And I think that had 8 million ounces, making around $1 billion a year in revenue. And I think it was costing 200-300 an ounce and selling for 2,000 an ounce type of thing. The margins were absolutely massive. Is this similar to what they've got? Again, I just have to reinforce that point to everyone.
Well, it's very similar in terms of the system, absolutely. And it's got many things going for it that Fosterville didn't even have above that 800 metre zone. The frequency of high grade hits, the width and of the alteration and the scale of the system is really targetable and large. And then the way it's transitioning looks like the way that these other epizonal systems transform. And so what we've got from 800 metres above is arguably much better than what Fosterville saw with their 5 gram dirt, 5 gram per tonne refractory mineralisation. The big opportunity for us is to find those extremely high grades. And I've said we've got meters at hundreds of grams. When we start getting meters at thousands of grams, that's the big opportunity also. But what we have in our own right here and above is pretty special already, like what I talked about in terms of the hit rate. So I think we can start, making those comparisons to Fosterville, but also just start to really understand just how significant this discovery is in its own right without needing to make those comparisons. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we'll be comparing Fosterville to Southern Cross one day. But what we're hoping for, so you've gone down to about 1 kilometre. Where was the sweet spot for Fosterville? Because we're already hitting this high grade. Do we have to go down to 1.4 kilometres? Like, where can we keep looking? Like, how does it work? Because if you look at where you've done with Sunday Creek, with the Polo, all the shoots that are coming, and there's many shoots that you're getting now, like it's just not 1 or 2. This is developing to a huge system. How much deeper can we go? And you did mention thousands of grams. Could we start hitting that deeper?
Yeah, so the strategy is to make it bigger and make it hang together, and we need to do more drilling for both those 2 key points to occur. Going along strike, so we talked about drilling 7.5 kilometres along strike from this hole that we put out. That there's currently a rig turning there, and we'll see those results start to come to the table soon from that big step out. Drilling the big gaps that exist. I think you could argue that we've only drilled 20 to 30% of our main area so far. And then one other key strategy is, and you were leading me to, is going deeper. And I think we've got a new geologist from Fosterville who's worked at Fosterville for the last few years, and now she's coming and work with us. And I asked her the other day what her strategy would be, and her strategy was drill deeper, because we're right at that very change in these epizonal systems at 800 metres. So that was sort of the top of where Fosterville started to hit its power band, and obviously this is one at the deepest hole, and it's looking better and better all the time.
Well, I mean, 121 grams, that must be up there as number 1 on the ASX for the week. I'm not sure if it is or not, because I haven't seen everyone else's results because it's only Tuesday. But good luck with that. But Mike, congratulations. It's just so exciting. So you've got 4 drill rigs turning. The drill team, they've invested a lot of money themselves personally in Southern Cross. So they've got a big incentive to keep drilling this out. So I expect with that amount of rigs, we'll have news flow sooner and sooner and sooner. Like you keep delivering every couple of weeks, we get these great announcements. And I think it's quite telling in a market which isn't rewarding explorers. We've had a little bit of weakness occasionally, but the share price has held up relatively well from the IPO. And with these results, I think it could even go beyond where we've already been.
Well, we're not in it just for the next few holes. We're in it for where we see this system developing, and that's why we're hitting it very hard with 4 rigs, and while we're fully permitted, have a large treasury to keep those rigs going. I'd like to see a 5th rig actually come to site when we bedded down the 4, and that's not quite the time yet. But you won't see us slowing down, and the system demands us to tackle it as quickly as possible. Investors like to have the outcomes in a shorter time frame, and as do we. So yeah, it would be great to have a buoyant gold market for the juniors, and imagine what we could do then.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Well, listen, I know you've got a few other meetings to do this morning because this is a stellar result. I know you've got fund managers and everyone wanting to talk to you. But thank you so much for your time, Mike. And it's just great to see this system is expanding and we are seeing what we wanted to. I mean, when we sold it, we said it could be the next Fosterville, and hitting these results at depth, it very well could be. So congratulations. I think a lot of people take note of this result at the bigger end of town. I know we've got some big funds which are on the register now, and I think they'll be looking at this very favourably. And you sort of have to, or you are delivering, mate. I'll call you the postman from now on.
Very good, Sean. Thanks as always for your interest and that of the people that follow you.